Well, this is Miss Tincher back again. Just want to give you a little update, which I said I was going to continue to do to fight for my home. Just want to give a little update. Today is the 10th, the 17th, 2010, and today was the day that I had to go to court for uh, dispossession of this apartment, Vineyard Point apartment on Highway 85. And this is the apartment that first, that last year around the same time that I was being evicted due to the fact that the Board of Commissioner, Elgin Bell, the Board of Commissioners had refused to keep their word. What they was going to do is to put me and my family up at the cost of the county expense. As you all know, they reneged on that. So I was to be moved out of this apartment. But unfortunately, I did not get out some way that the manager seemed like giving me a little favor and said that we can remain here under my name. And so with that being, um, we was able to stay here for another year. Well, how do you know? It seemed like it was going pretty well for one point. I have never missed a month paying the rent here, has always been paying it on time. But I did notice the rent was beginning to change as of March of this early this year. Rent has begun to change from 100 to maybe $150 a month more. And as a contract, as a lease that I was have that I have from the manager. And so with that meaning, I come to find of it that in March this year, the manager, her name is Candice Lightfoot. That's the manager name. At the time, we had made a interest enter my this apartment without notifying me or any. I didn't give any written order for her to come into this apartment. And this was around March the 3rd. That's the day I paid my rent. And that's the day it's due on the 3rd of each month. And so when she came into this apartment, very little did she know there was a camera inside this apartment. And also a camera on my laptop. And this is the camera that I'm talking with you with. And once you open it up, the camera will actually take a picture of you. And that's what happened. And so I did do a police report that she entered this apartment without my authorization and violation of my right. And the maintenance man was with her too. That was Jane. He also stated that he said to her not to come into this apartment. All the people in the world, why would you want to come in Miss Lisa's apartment? And so when I did approach her about it, she said to me her boss told her to come into my apartment. And so I don't know what her boss would tell her to come into this apartment to do what I have the slightest idea. Um, I don't want to say what that was all about. I didn't know what that was all about. But from that point on, then it was rocky world. When people don't like when you go to saying certain things to them or approaching them, you become a problem, and you're really not the problem. Just that you're addressing the problem they're giving to you. So with that meaning, she had started, beginning to act funny. But a little bit else on to that, when the county did have me evicted from this apartment, as I stated earlier, they also left me with a power bill. The power bill almost $1,000, and I could not afford to pay $1,000, and rent was almost $3,000 as well. That back rent that they refused to pay. So the light got turned off, and what Candace did is allow the lights to stay on in the complex name, and I was to pay that bill and pay the rent and the light bill all together in one. Well, after Miss Candy's, after then in July was her last day here. I did not know that they had terminated her from Vineyard Point's apartment. Well, she got terminated. I don't know what the reason was, and I didn't know she was gone until I went to pay my rent in July the 3rd and realized she was not there to not here anymore on this premises. Well, you had some subs that come in, and I still continue to pay my rent and pay whatever that was due that I needed to pay. And from there, it has went from a downfall. Had a new manager come on the scene on the property, and with the new manager coming on the scene, her name is Miss Vicky Williams, and she came on the scene. I mean, she came on like a lit bulb. Had my car towed. My car was towed by Tara Raker, and without my authorization, and it was not uh, by my authorization to do that as well. But when my daughter seen the car was on the tow truck, she did notify me and notify the office that they had my car. Miss Williams then identified, said that was the wrong car that they had towed. So they went to bring the car back. When they got to bring the car back, they just dropped the car off, and I couldn't understand how they can retow a Mercedes Benz without the keys initial. Well, when we really looked into that, I had a licensed mechanic to come out, and they had tore up the gear shift, the gear drive in the car, and broke the mount that hold up the transmission. Uh, the work was done to this Mercedes Benz, and it was done because of the fact that the manager gave Tara Raker the permission to tow my car, and then she did admit it that she did said that that was the wrong car. And these are the kind of things that I've been going through with. And so to cover herself up, she decided that she wanted me out of the department. And she did. We did go to court last Monday, and she did sit in front of Judge Scott. She just personally did not like me. It wasn't that I did not pay the rent, but she personally did not like me, and she wanted me out of the apartment. So what they did today, they subpoenaed the manager that they fired. They said they subpoenaed her, but they didn't. She came on her own will. But I want to let you know, if this is not what you call wrong, tell me what this is. This is just getting a little bit too much out of hand, as I have always said it. Um, if this is all due to the county doing all this here crazy stuff, it's just really time out for stop. It's just really time out for all this here foolishness. Um, but you have a manager to come in and testify something that she's no longer can be on this premises. I don't know how you allow this kind of behavior to do. Then they also had another manager come here from Griffin, Georgia. She don't know anything, but what little that they did know, I did get a police report when Mrs. Lightfoot entered this apartment back in March the 3rd. A police report also, you know, for that incident that she did come, that she come into this apartment without my authorization. I did get a police report at the time that I did pay the rent, because the lady from Griffin was in Mrs. Williams' spot for a week, and she went out of town, and I did get that also too. And it's getting to the point where some of this madness stuff just needs to stop. It just really needs to stop now. I'm looking for closure. I'm not looking for confusion between the county putting people to do this kind of foolishness stuff. And I know it's coming from the county. And if you go to the police report, the police department to file any kind of documents on it, it just don't stand anywhere. If you go to the sheriff office, that don't help anywhere, because I did ask the sheriff about some of this stuff that has been happening to me. That was nothing done about that. They'll look into it and give me a call back later. This is something what I would call conspiracy. Conspiracy to the point where you know it's wrong. You know what you're doing is wrong, and you need to make it come clean. I like I all the time I stated, I did not do anything to Clayton County. You demolished my house, you took it from me, and then you expect for me to sit back and not say anything about it. And I hope I pray that someone will see these videos and say it's time out for this foolishness here in Clayton County, Georgia. You got board of commissioners who you do wrong, but you can justify for your wrongdoing. But then when someone else's do something, you can't justify. You got judges sit on the bench, and like the judge that Judge Brown, who had me evicted on a letter that the county gave me specifically saying we're going to put Miss Tench and her family up at the county expense. But you go back and you evict me on that same letter. And then before then, I said to each and one of these judges, I tried to have the fire chief arrested, because when they started this process with my home, this was in 2007, and this is in October 2007, and I did not know this yet, but they contract my house out, Rod Gray, contract my house out to Ron Johnson. And Ron Johnson CC'd Landry Murphyson as though he was the owner of my home. This is all happened in 2007. And then we sit back and you look, I didn't sign anything to give no one, I didn't give no one authorization to do anything in 2007. And then the fire chief signed up on my house as though it's his house. It's time now that somebody need to step up to the plate. It's time for someone else to look at these videos and say, something is wrong with this picture. Something is seriously wrong with this picture. And if I can see all this here, my God, can anybody else see something is wrong with this here? And it get to the point where I'm kind of upset with this here county, the way you handle business. Clayton County has your own law. There's no such thing as office of oath. You don't have no office oath. It's whatever you lay down. That's what people are supposed to accept from you. But it's time out for all this foolishness. If you tore this house down, if you demolished this house, and you did not have any order from the courts or any order from anyone to do this here, and then you want me to sit back and be quiet about it, I'm not going to be quiet about it. Miss Vicky, I have to say this here too. She said to the attorney today, and he kneeled down beside me. He says, Miss Vicky says, would you not tell the neighbors that she a bad manager? Heck yeah, you are a bad manager. You're not a good manager. If you was a good manager, you would have come and talked to your tenants, not go on he said and they said and this said. You come and talk to your tenants, but you wouldn't go and pull in a other old person manager that used to manage here, couldn't even keep the books right. You wouldn't go and offer something like that. Not the legend that I have that this lady once charged me $750, $813, $900. Oh, what's with all this here prices that they was charging me for rent? And you know what? Sometimes I'm guilty of it too, because I was just paying it. Because you know why? I was trying to keep a roof over my children's head. Wasn't paying that no attention until I looked at the legend and says, okay, I've been really scooped here. This lady been charging me more money than what I supposed to been paying in rent. Something wrong with this picture here. So, a lot of time, I'm voicing this here because I'm very upset with the way the system here in Clayton County. And I am a victim here. Clayton County is not the victim. I'm the victim. You have people people are here in leadership, and you sometimes wonder, is this really true leadership here, or is this here just somebody just really sitting back getting their capital gain? This is a capital gain that's going on with them. They don't care nothing about the people. If they care, they would do what is right. If they wanted Miss Tench out their face, you would do what is best and give Miss Tench back her house, because Miss Tench is not going to stop talking until you give her back her house.